Hey everybody, welcome back to Pick of the Week. This time I'm featuring the fourth studio album by MGMT titled Little Dark Age on Columbia Records from 2018. Oh my goodness, I was so surprised by this album. Now, I really love their first album and the following two just didn't really captivate me. But this one is a return to form. It is MGMT honing their pop sensibilities, bringing it back, but also keeping it kind of timely. And it's fascinating that the band took a break. Both members were living on opposite sides of the US, and they actually started off doing this album via email, and it kind of created this hyper-focused, sort of like very clear outlook, like, because they weren't just jamming together, they were going back and forth. Eventually they did get together, and obviously they recorded this album together, but I think they needed that break, some space to kind of enjoy what they like doing outside of the band, and I think that really shows on here, and man, I really enjoy it. So let's break this down track by track. First up, we have She Works Out Too Much, and I love how the beginning of this song really sounds like you just put in a VHS tape and the VCR is doing some auto tracking.
Get ready to have some fun.
I like the inclusion of the vocals, this female vocalist. Her name is Sellers. I was not familiar of her work before, but I'm definitely gonna check her out now. And she does, I believe, the spoken word and of course the singing on this track. Overall, I love the idea. It didn't work out because she works out too much, meaning she spends so much time creating this profile of herself on social media, and he spent so much time just liking and upvoting her pictures and video and stuff. It just became too much, and like, it wasn't him. He didn't work out. On first pass, it comes off kind of like a J-pop song, almost like a Dance Dance Revolution type song. It makes you feel real good, but then once you get beneath that and listen to the lyrics, that's when it opens up and it becomes more of a statement on current society and relationships, and man, there's a lot of depth there. Oh, and if you're a fan of Ariel Pink, you should know that he plays some synths on this track and also on another one coming up. Rounding out side A, we have the title track, Little Dark Age, and like the title suggests, this is a much more dark song. It really is in contrast to the first track. He talks about grieving in stereo, which is such an interesting idea. It's got a Buggles-esque feel about it, like the video killed the radio star, but even down to the vocals and just the other instruments. The one thing I really love about this song is the synthy bass on here. It's just got such a wonderful fat sound about it. Really reminds me of Captain EO era Michael Jackson, just that kind of fuzzed out, funky bass line. Really, really cool stuff. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. Opening up side B, we have When You Die, and this is the first song that really jumps out at me as going back to their debut sound. I love the plucking instrument on here. It's probably a guitar or something like that, but it's got a really nice sound about it. The chorus has this wonderful 60s-esque feel about it, and it's just drenched in wonderful guitars.
Baby, I'm ready, I'm ready, ready, ready. Blow my lid off.
In addition to playing guitar and adding some background vocals, Ariel Pink actually shares writing credit on this song. So if you guys are a fan of his work, this is another track you're really gonna dig. I love how wonderfully subversive this is. Like obviously MGMT has this sort of obtuse angle from which they kind of view the world through, and then they internalize that, and out comes this interesting song. But ultimately, you know, this song is very danceable, and I think that's what I really like about it. Here you can just kind of like dance along to this song saying, go F yourself.
Go fuck yourself. You heard me right. Don't call me nice again.
Up next, we have Me and Michael, and I swear to you, I thought this was a cover, and not because of what I'm going to get into in a second, but because of the way it sounded. I thought that this was a cover of an 80s song, and I even heard it on the radio going, oh, this is the original. MGMT just covered this version of the song. But no, this is how it sounds. The production on this is nearly perfect, beat for beat, tone for tone, recreating an 80s pop love song classic. What's crazy though, if you watch the music video for this song, it plays out this story. Like, they found this music video of this Filipino band, True Faith, and they're like, we have to steal this song and make it our own. And what's crazy is that they hired that band, real band, True Faith, to cover their song, make a music video, and release that video a week before MGMT released their video to create this narrative that is reflected in the music video. Even though it's completely made up, I love the extra layer they added to the visual component of this song.
Me and my
Opening up side C, we have TSLAMP, or Time Spent Looking at My Phone. Now, musically, I love this sort of Miami Sound Machine feel of this. It's not quite extreme 80s like the previous song, but it definitely has that feel, that kind of Latin feel.
Time spent sitting all alone. Time spent looking at my phone. I try to pull the curtains back, turn you off, can't detach. When all I want and all I know is time spent looking at my phone.
To me, the standout is the chorus. It has this very whimsical feel about it, but when you listen to the lyrics, it becomes very clear that this is a commentary on how much time we spend on our phones and how that's sort of detrimental, how much we miss when we're looking at our phones and not paying attention to what's around us as we're out and about.
Nothing can compete with the first time you saw her passing strangers on the street, spending every moment looking at their phones.
Track 2 is James, and this is a lovely ode to their touring guitarist James Richardson. This is a very sunny, lovely number. It shares a lot of similarities to Me and Michael, but this song is more about brotherly love, friendship, that feeling you get when you're with like your best friend, and just sort of how you read each other's mind. Rounding out side C, we have the instrumental track, Days That Got Away. Well, it isn't quite completely instrumental. There is a vocalized Days That Got Away, but honestly, you know, that's the only lyric in this song, and it's very sparse otherwise. This to me is a very appropriately titled song because it feels like a lazy Sunday afternoon. It feels like it's sunny and you're just chilling, and before you know it, it's sunset and you're like, wow, where did the day go? To me, this song really imbues that. It's sunny, it's refreshing, it's low-key, it's chill, but it has a lot of elements going on that I think it will reward you with repeated listens. Opening up side D, we have One Thing Left to Try, and this feels a bit like the Eurythmics being played through an arcade cabinet, if that makes any sense. However, the lyrics are surprisingly heavy despite the poppy overtones. They're dealing with death, God, and desperation. I'm not exactly sure exactly what they're trying to say with all of this, but it certainly doesn't come across as happy. I will say that. It's one of those songs that will open up the more you listen to it.
One thing left to try. If you wanna save your life. Fear is his name, but his friends still call him God.
Track 2 is When You're Small, and this one has the most psychedelic feel about it. It harkens back to King Crimson or the Moody Blues, especially with the use of strings on here. Overall, I love the whimsy of this song. It definitely is a nice stopgap between the first very kind of dark song and the last song, which is equally as dark, which we'll get to in a second. Closing out the album, we have Hand It Over, and this is an interesting song because to me this really represents what they went through as a band in making this record. You see, they were about halfway through when Trump became president, and after the election, to them they were like, I can't believe this happened. What do we do? How do we deal with that? And what they did is they sort of went, okay, I think now's a great time to start making more pop music. And so that is sort of like the back half of this album. It sort of shaped the overall mixing and production of the record. I think knowing that little piece of backstory will help kind of decipher what exactly is going on in this song, or maybe not, I don't know. Overall, I do dig the feeling of this song. It has kind of a slow jam feel, but obviously lyrically, it is the complete opposite of that.
This time, it's yours and it's mine. Nothing on my mind.
Okay guys, let's talk about the packaging. Now on the cover, I have to say, for as simple as it is, I really enjoy it. I like this imagery of this clown. I like the abbreviation of Little Dark Age. Opening up, oh my goodness, there is a lot going on with this. It's got a childlike quality about it. Love to know what the artist's inspiration was for that. And on the back there, you get the track listings and whatnot. Now, both records come in these lyric sleeves, which I found very handy, and there's some credits and legal stuff on the bottom of each. Now, what I really like on here are the labels. You have the classic vintage 6i Columbia labels. There's side B, side C, and side D. Now, one thing I want to note is I'm not a big fan of the material of the cover here. It tends to balloon out. It doesn't really like to lay flat, and even when you get the records in there, you can't push the sleeves all the way in without getting them pinched on the fold here. And lastly, it does come with a digital download code. Okay guys, that has been Little Dark Age by MGMT. I really enjoyed this record. It was a return to form for the band, and they took what they had gained from their last two albums and just really enriched their sound. But I want to know what you guys have to say. Be sure to leave me a comment down below. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side.